your current role as the CIO of 3 Ireland, you worked with O2, Orange, and others, and transformation is one of your specialist subjects. So let's begin with an industry view of this topic that draws on your experiences. To set the scene, can you tell us what you see as the primary B2B opportunities are for CSPs today, and most importantly, maybe, which of those opportunities you regard as the most exciting?
So I guess from my perspective, my experience in the various CSPs as outlined, I think the primary opportunities for CSPs like 3 in Ireland, for example, is that we have a lot of experience of managing the customer experience, customer expectations through what we do as our core business, whether that's billing, support through our call centers, or in the last number of years offering, sort of consistent and, rich customer experiences across all the products and services that we provide. But I think going forward, there is an opportunity, particularly with the advent of 5G in the coming years, to really build on that legacy experience, both in terms of the systems and processes that we I guess offer and support internally, but also to extend those to support, particularly in the B2B market, to support enterprises out there through our experience, both in terms of system support, putting those customer experiences together. So I think there's huge opportunity to extend that from the inside out, if that makes sense. And really, I guess with the advent of 5G, for me, for telcos, that's where the real future opportunity is, and where, I get quite excited about what the possibilities are. So, for example, linking both the IT experience and the IT capability that we have, but connecting that to what our network has to offer now and will do in the future with 5G. I think by bringing those things together and exposing the network and the IT capability out to other enterprises, and then us as a CSP helping to manage those experiences, I think there's a huge opportunity there.
Fantastic. Well, bringing Karthik into the conversation next with a question for both of you, actually. We often hear about digital ecosystems and tapping adjacent industry verticals. What are some of the key aspects to consider?
Sure. So one of the key aspects to consider when telcos look at adjacent industry verticals is to look at specific industries that have telco-like capabilities. Like any digital business today would need connectivity, and telcos can provide the connectivity as a service. They would need capabilities like order management, billing, subscription-based charging. Right. So today, considering the vibrant startup ecosystem, any industry they have a lot of choices. I mean, they can go and procure a billing platform from a SaaS marketplace, and that represents a lost opportunities for CSPs, because CSPs naturally are inclined and they have the expertise, they have the products to provide these capabilities as a service. So it's wise for CSPs to look at the core IT capabilities, identify what needs to be transformed into a service model, and offer it as a service, so that they are able to leverage their brand value. So the brand value, the brand presence, instead of allowing a startup to capitalize the opportunity. Right. And if you look at the B2B landscape, today CSPs are looking at a variety of adjacent industry verticals like healthcare, connected cars, smart cities, and all these examples that I've talked about have a huge dependency on telco-like capabilities. Right. So just to show you a very quick slide in terms of the adjacent industry verticals. Today we are talking about what telcos are already doing. So these are some of the examples. So we're talking about Industry 4.2, which talks about kind of bringing together different IoT players. We're talking about a retail ecosystem. We are talking about having different manufacturers in place. Even smart stadiums, for example, different players that can be onboarded, and all these providers require connectivity capabilities. So So in terms of the core telco expertise, I can show you another example. This is an example of a telco-powered smart city, a digital ecosystem where all the players in the blue band represent the different B2B segments that are players in some form or shape that have a touch point to a smart city ecosystem, right? So, and telcos can provide the capabilities that are shown in the yellow band. And this is a specific example that I talked about in terms of what telcos can service enable and offer it as a value-added service so that it enhances the value provided by the players shown in the blue segment. Yeah.
That's great. Really like the diagram. Well, Stephen, tell us your take on this when it comes to tapping adjacent industry verticals. Sorry.
Well, I guess, I mean, to build on what we just said earlier, I think there's huge potential going forward to provide, what would have been traditionally an internal capability within the CSPs. But I think as the as 5G as a technology evolves, particularly around low latency type of applications, whether that's autonomous cars, whether it's solutions, private networks for manufacturing, for example. All of these capabilities within themselves, don't offer the service. So really, it's wrapping that sort of technology network capability, but wrapping it as a service. So to provide that billing capability, to provide customer care, to provide that technical support, to give all kinds of capabilities that we offer as part of our basic service today, but to really hone that in and be very specific to, depending on the vertical market that you're addressing, be a lot more specific and focused on providing that level of service that we're used to giving. And I think by using the technology, whether that's through API gateways and sort of various technologies that, say, for example, Torry Harris supply, it's by using that sort of APIs to link into that internal capability, whether it's in the IT or the network space. That's really where we need to focus on. But I think it's not something that's going to happen overnight. I think it's an evolution of both the CSP's capability, but also from a B2B perspective, those verticals also need to, I guess, create that demand. So it's like chicken and egg story. We need to build a capability and we need to provide the service, but we also need to see that demand coming in, because obviously we need to invest to get all of that capability exposed. And really, it's about where do you sort of invest initially to start growing the demand. So for me, one of the challenges will be is rather than trying to do everything at once, it's maybe building up that journey and that capability in an iterative way over the coming few years.
And it's unlikely that we're going to have another pandemic to help drive that demand. So it's going to have to be a little bit more organic this time. Well, moving on to the technical aspects of this now, and maybe Karthik, you can re-show some more slides here. But what do you see as the building blocks to put together this ecosystem for CSPs?
Sure. So basically, in terms of the building blocks, to capture what capabilities first that telcos would need to service enable. So this slide basically shows the different capabilities of a telco. And to service enable each of these building blocks, you need to obviously API enable them. And in addition to API enabling them, you need to see how to build a life cycle in terms of the onboarding, offboarding, monetization, productization of each of these capabilities. And the key technical building block that does this is the API management product. So to show you how all these pieces fit together in terms of the service enabled stuff. So if you take any B2B digital marketplace or any B2B offering, you have a set of providers, and this will be industry specific providers that you establish a partnership with. The example that I talked about, a smart city, this would be all the smart city providers like your parking providers, automated signal providers, and so on. And then you have your customer base. So your customer base are your consumers. It could either be a B2C consumer or it could be a B2B consumer. So you need a means for consumers to access the offerings provided by the providers. At the same time, you need to empower the providers through the service enablement of the core telco capabilities, for which you need to obviously latch on to your core infrastructure, which is your core network, because you're talking about location as a service, order management as a service, all your core BSS, OSS is involved here. And you need to have the technical building blocks like the API management. And one of the most important building block on top of API management is the digital marketplace. So the digital marketplace framework is the portal that the customer actually accesses. And it would be very seamless from an end customer standpoint. So end customer would access the CSP website as they would access any other offering. But in addition to the core CSP offerings, they would also see all the value-added offerings provided by the partner ecosystem, so that it's a seamless experience for the end user. So it also allows the transaction to go through, because all these building blocks are well integrated, so that you are able to make the transaction seamlessly go through all these underlying subsets. To show you the next level of detail in terms of how these building blocks fit together. So basically we have a set of tools. So in terms of the technical products, right from the different lifecycle stages, right from the API conceptualization to development to testing. So we have a set of tools that accelerate the process of exposure of these core capabilities that I talked about. And in terms of making these APIs available to the consumer segment, you have the digital marketplace framework, which is under the Digit Market umbrella brand. And integrated with the marketplace is our API manager. Even though it's part of the Digit Market umbrella, it's designed to either function independently or as a integrated product offering. So the API management provides a secure access layer for all the capabilities, and the marketplace is the customer facing portal.